So, you have questions regarding your prescription drug coverage, better known as Medicare Part D coverage with AvMed. Medicare coverage with AvMed includes both Part C and Part D, where Part C is a combination of both Parts A, hospital insurance, and B, medical insurance. And Part D is for prescription drugs. This video will concentrate on Part D coverage, including prescription oral drugs, self-injectable drugs, and home health admin drugs. When discussing the cost of drugs, you should know that there are several categories of drugs to choose from, which also vary in price. These categories are Tier 1, Preferred Generic, Tier 2, Non-Preferred Generic, Tier 3, Preferred Brand, Tier 4, Non-Preferred Drug, Tier 5, Specialty Medication. As these tiers increase, so do their copay costs, starting with Tier 1 being the lowest and Tier 5 being the highest. To help save money on your medications, you can choose preferred pharmacies from our network, which are marked with a P in the provider and pharmacy directory. Medicare Part D coverage includes different coverage levels, as well as copays that vary depending on your level of coverage. AvMed Medicare plans do not have a deductible, so your coverage begins in Stage 2. You remain in Stage 2 until you reach the stage dollar limit. Stage 3 is the coverage gap, where costs will change for drugs in Tiers 3, 4, and 5. Stage 3 coverage begins after you've reached the out-of-pocket spending limit, which gets you out of the coverage gap and continues until the end of the calendar year. For information on each stage's dollar limit and to check the cost of your medications, log in to your member portal at avmed.org and click on Pharmacy Benefits. Another aspect of Medicare Part D is that AvMed manages certain medications to promote appropriate use while reducing waste and cost. These programs are Prior Authorization. AvMed requires you or your physician to get prior authorization for certain drugs. This means that you will need to get approval from AvMed before you fill your prescriptions. Quantity limits. For certain drugs, AvMed limits the amount of drug that is covered. Step therapy. In some cases, AvMed Medicare requires you to first try certain drugs to treat your medical condition before we will cover another drug. You can find which drugs need approval at avmed.org by finding the Quick Links section, navigating to preferred medication lists, and finding the Medicare formulary, which is updated every month. Use the key listed on each page to determine which drugs require which approval processes. We look forward to serving you during your golden years. For more details and information about AvMed's Medicare Part D coverage, including information on over-the-counter allowances, please visit avmed.org.